Imagine a conversation that could change the course of your health, one that every man over 60 urgently needs to have, but that almost never happens in a doctor's office. It's not about complex surgeries or expensive pills. It's about three simple daily habits that could protect your prostate for years to come. These are habits supported by solid science, proven in research, and yet overlooked by most men in this stage of life. My name is Doctor. I'm a urologist with over 18 years of clinical experience. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the most important discoveries about prostate health that I've learned in my career and from cutting-edge research. If you are over 60 or you love someone who is, I strongly encourage you to stay with me until the end. What I'm about to reveal doesn't come from guesswork or internet rumors. It's based on medical evidence, on my experience treating thousands of men, and on some of the most respected studies in the field of urology. And I want to promise you something. At least one of these three habits will surprise you. In fact, it might even challenge what you thought you knew about how to care for your prostate. Before we explore these powerful strategies, I want you to understand why your prostate requires more attention as you age. The prostate is a small gland about the size of a walnut, but its impact on male health is enormous. It sits just below the bladder, wrapped around the urethra like a ring, and plays a vital role in producing spinal fluid. For most of your life, you probably never gave it much thought, but after the age of 50, and especially after 60, things start to change. Hormonal fluctuations, particularly in testosterone and its derivatives, cause the prostate to grow. This enlargement is called benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. It's extremely common. At age 60, around 60% of men have some degree of BPH. By age 70, that number climbs to 70%. For some men, the growth is mild and barely noticeable, but for many, it becomes a daily frustration. You know the symptoms: struggling to start urination, a weak urine stream that takes forever, that annoying sensation that your bladder never fully empties, and perhaps the most exhausting of all, those nightly trips to the bathroom that interrupt your sleep and leave you drained the next day. Now, here's the part that might shock you. Most men accept these symptoms as a normal part of aging. They shrug them off, thinking, well, I'm getting older. This is just how it is. But that is not true. These symptoms are not inevitable. In fact, there are simple, natural, scientifically supported strategies to slow down and in some cases even reverse much of this progression. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. In this video, I'll share with you three daily habits that could dramatically improve your prostate health, reduce those frustrating symptoms, and help you enjoy a better quality of life. They cost nothing, they're easy to implement, and they have the power to change everything for you. Now let's dive into the first habit. The first habit I want to share may seem basic at first glance, but I promise you its impact is enormous. Strategic hydration. You might be thinking, Doctor, everyone knows drinking water is important. And yes, you're right. But let me tell you something. Very few men actually know how to hydrate in a way that truly protects the prostate. It's not just about drinking water. It's about how you drink it, when you drink it, and why timing matters so much more than you realize. Let's start with a simple but alarming fact. Chronic dehydration is extremely common in older adults. Many men in their 60s and beyond don't feel as thirsty as they used to, so they simply don't drink enough water. And when they do drink, it's often at the wrong times. Chugging down large amounts in the evening or at night because they barely drank anything all day. Why is this a problem? Because dehydration makes your urine more concentrated. Instead of being light and clear, it becomes dark and dense, filled with irritants and toxins. This concentrated urine does two very harmful things. It irritates your bladder and it inflames your prostate. Yes, something as simple as how you drink water can actually worsen the inflammation inside your prostate gland. Several recent studies have connected poor hydration to increased lower urinary tract symptoms, things like urgency, frequency, and nighttime trips to the bathroom. One study in the Journal of Urology found that men who consistently drank less than 1.5 L of water daily reported more severe urinary symptoms than those who drank 2 to 3 L spaced throughout the day. And here's the kicker. When those dehydrated men improved their hydration habits, many saw their symptoms decrease significantly within weeks. But here's the secret that few people know and that almost no one talks about. It's not only about how much water you drink, but also about when you drink it. If you want to protect your prostate and sleep better, you need to drink smarter. The best pattern is this. Drink the majority of your fluids during the morning and afternoon. Get at least 70% of your daily water intake before 6 p.m. Why? Because drinking too much water in the evening forces your bladder to work overtime at night, waking you up multiple times. And if you're like many men with an enlarged prostate, your bladder doesn't empty completely with each trip to the bathroom. So you're left with that frustrating, never-ending cycle. By front-loading your hydration earlier in the day and tapering off toward the evening, you can keep your body and prostate well hydrated without sacrificing your sleep. Research shows that men who adopt this pattern experience up to a 40% reduction in nighttime urinary symptoms. Think about that, almost cutting your nightly bathroom trips in half with one simple change. So how do you actually do this? Start your day with a full glass of water as soon as you wake up. Drink consistently throughout the morning and after lunch. If you want herbal teas or other fluids, have them before dinner, after 6 or 7 p.m. Sip only as needed. It's not about restricting yourself completely at night, but about being mindful. This single habit can be life-changing. Many of my patients tell me that once they began strategic hydration, they finally started sleeping through the night again. And better sleep doesn't just make you feel rested. It improves your immune system, balances your hormones, lowers your stress, and even reduces chronic inflammation throughout your body, including in your prostate. Now that we've covered hydration, let's move to the second habit. This one is just as simple but equally powerful, and it involves movement. The second habit I want to share with you is equally simple but incredibly powerful: walking after meals. Now you might be wondering, how can such a small thing like a short walk really make a difference for my prostate? The answer lies in how our bodies respond to movement after eating and how that response can protect your prostate for years to come. Let me start with a story. One of my patients, Mr. Antonio, 68 years old, came to me complaining of worsening urinary symptoms. He was waking up 5 to 6 times a night to urinate, felt like he could never fully empty his bladder, and his stream was weaker than ever. After reviewing his medical history and making a few adjustments to his hydration, I suggested something else. Take a 15-minute walk after lunch and dinner every single day. Just 2 weeks later, he came back with a big smile. Doctor, I don't know what magic you did, but I'm already waking up half as much at night. This is not magic, it's science. Walking after meals is one of the most underestimated habits for men's health, and its benefits for the prostate are profound. When you walk after eating, you're not just burning calories. You're improving blood circulation to your pelvic region, which means more oxygen and nutrients are delivered to your prostate. This improved blood flow helps the gland function better and can reduce inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the main triggers of benign prostatic hyperplasia and even plays a role in the development of more serious conditions. By simply walking after meals, you are combating this inflammation directly, but the benefits don't stop there. Walking after meals stabilizes blood sugar levels. This is crucial because diabetes and poor glucose control are strongly linked to worsening prostate health. Elevated blood sugar fuels inflammation, damages blood vessels, and even impacts hormonal balance, all of which contribute to prostate enlargement and urinary symptoms. In fact, research published in the Diabetes and Metabolic Syndrome Journal found that men with poorly managed blood sugar were significantly more likely to develop severe urinary problems and faster prostate growth. Now, here's something even more interesting. Walking after eating has been shown to work like a natural anti-inflammatory for the entire body. A study in the Journal of Inflammation Research demonstrated that low-intensity post-meal walks significantly lowered inflammatory markers in older adults. This is critical because chronic inflammation doesn't just affect your prostate, it affects your heart, your joints, and even your brain. So when you take that short stroll, you're protecting your whole body. You might be thinking, Doctor, I'm not very active. How far do I need to walk? And here's the good news. You don't need to overdo it. Just 10 to 15 minutes at a comfortable pace after lunch and dinner is enough. You don't need to sweat or push yourself. You just need to move. Another important aspect, walking after dinner improves your digestion and reduces the risk of late-night reflux and bloating, which indirectly helps you sleep better. And as we've already discussed, better sleep equals lower stress and less inflammation. A double win for your prostate. This is one of those habits that gives you a huge return for very little effort. It costs nothing. You can do it anywhere. And research shows that older men who incorporate post-man walking into their routine have a 35% lower risk of developing severe prostate complications. I often tell my patients, if you can walk to protect your heart, why not walk to protect your prostate? It's a simple habit, but one that can change everything. Now that we've covered hydration and movement, it's time to talk about the third habit. And this one might be the most controversial of all because it challenges what many of you have heard for years. Now we come to the third habit, and I want to prepare you because this one challenges a lot of what you may have heard before. It's about maintaining an active sexual life. For decades, the medical consensus has been that frequent ejaculation, whether through sex or masturbation, was beneficial for prostate health. This idea was largely based on a landmark study by Harvard University that followed over 30,000 men for 2 decades, concluding that those who ejaculated around 21 times per month had up to a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer. But here's what you need to know. More recent research is starting to question whether all types of sexual activity offer the same benefits. In particular, the conversation around masturbation has shifted. Let's break this down. When we talk about sexual health for older men, it's important to separate two forms of activity: partnered intimacy, sex with a partner, and solo stimulation, masturbation. They may both result in ejaculation, but their effects on the body, and specifically on the prostate, are not identical. Sex with a partner has a profound physiological and hormonal impact. It increases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and improves overall emotional well-being. It also encourages pelvic floor muscle relaxation and better circulation in the pelvic region. These combined effects can reduce chronic inflammation, which, as we've already discussed, plays a significant role in prostate enlargement and dysfunction. Masturbation, on the other hand, doesn't seem to provide all of these benefits, and when performed excessively, it may actually have drawbacks. Studies have found that frequent solo stimulation, especially when performed habitually without the emotional and hormonal balance that partnered intimacy provides, can lead to pelvic floor muscle tension and irritate the prostate. A 2016 study published in BJU International observed that older men who reported very frequent masturbation had a slightly higher incidence of lower urinary tract symptoms compared to those who were sexually active with partners. The researchers hypothesized that the lack of physiological and psychological balancing effects in solo activity could be a factor. Another layer of this conversation involves the context of sexual health after 60. Many men face declining testosterone, emotional changes, and increased stress in this stage of life, all of which can impact the prostate. Partnered intimacy often addresses several of these areas simultaneously. It boosts mood, improves hormone regulation, and reduces feelings of isolation. Masturbation doesn't provide these same multidimensional benefits. This doesn't mean occasional masturbation is harmful, but the idea that more ejaculation automatically equals better prostate health oversimplifies a much more complex reality. In fact, some urologists now encourage their patients to focus on quality sexual activity rather than frequency alone, aiming for connection, relaxation, and circulation benefits rather than purely mechanical release. So what does this mean for you? If you have a partner, maintaining an intimate relationship is one of the best things you can do for your prostate and your overall health. If you don't, this is a good moment to discuss with your doctor alternative ways to support your pelvic and sexual health. Whether that's through guided pelvic floor exercises, therapies that improve circulation, or finding healthy ways to address emotional well-being. In summary, sexual activity is still a key part of prostate health, but masturbation may not provide the same level of protection as partner intimacy. An excessive reliance on it could even have negative effects. It's time to move beyond the old ejaculation count idea and focus instead on the quality and context of your sexual health practices. Now that we've explored these three habits: strategic hydration, post-meal walking, and maintaining a healthy sexual life, I want you to understand something very important. None of these practices work in isolation. Their full power comes when they are integrated into a broader, healthier lifestyle. When combined, they form a strong shield for your prostate, your urinary health, and your overall quality of life. Let's review them quickly. First, strategic hydration. Not just drinking more water, but drinking it at the right times. Ensuring your body stays well hydrated without overloading your bladder at night. This reduces irritation, prevents concentrated urine from inflaming your prostate, and improves your sleep. Second, walking after meals, just 10 to 15 minutes after lunch and dinner. This boosts circulation to your pelvic region, reduces inflammation, improves blood sugar regulation, and even protects your heart and brain. And third, maintaining a healthy sexual life. Choosing quality over quantity, prioritizing partnered intimacy when possible, and understanding that masturbation alone may not offer the same protective benefits, especially when performed excessively. But there's more. For these habits to truly make a difference, they need to be part of a complete prostate health plan. That means eating a diet rich in antioxidants like lycopene found in tomatoes, cruciferous vegetables, and healthy fats. It means keeping your weight under control because abdominal fat drives hormonal imbalances that worsen prostate growth. It means managing blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol because these metabolic factors are deeply linked to prostate disease progression. And it also means staying on top of your medical care, no matter how well you hydrate, bulk, or maintain sexual activity. You still need regular checkups. Men over 60 should see their urologist at least once a year. These visits usually include PSA blood testing and a digital rectal exam, simple steps that can detect prostate problems early when they are far easier to treat. Too many men skip these visits because they feel uncomfortable or think they aren't necessary. But here's the truth. Early detection saves lives. Whether it's catching prostate cancer in its earliest stages or managing benign enlargement before it becomes a serious obstruction, proactive care makes all the difference. And if you're thinking, Doctor, I'm too old to start changing now, I want you to hear me clearly. It's never too late. I've seen men in their 70s and 80s adopt these habits and experience major improvements. Less nighttime urination, better bladder control, a stronger urinary stream, even more energy and vitality. These are not just theories. They're the real life results I see every day in my patients. So here's what I want you to do. Start with one habit. Maybe tomorrow morning you set a goal to drink most of your water before 6 p.m. or after dinner tonight, you take a short 15-minute walk instead of sitting on the couch. Or you schedule that long overdue appointment with your urologist. It doesn't have to be everything all at once. Change happens step by step. Your prostate health is more than just avoiding discomfort or trips to the bathroom. It's about your independence, your energy, your dignity. It's about being able to live fully without being held back by symptoms that can be managed or even prevented. If there's one message I want you to take away, it's this. You are not powerless. Whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, you can take control of your prostate health starting today. And now I'd like to leave you with a challenge. Write down these 3 habits: strategic hydration, post-meal walking, and healthy sexual activity. And post them somewhere you'll see every day. Your fridge, your bathroom mirror, your bedside table. Remind yourself that these are not just routines. They are acts of self-care. They are your commitment to yourself. I've spent nearly 2 decades helping men reclaim their quality of life through simple but powerful changes like these. And I can tell you with confidence, when you take care of your prostate, you're taking care of your whole self, physically, emotionally, and even socially. So start today. And if this message helped you, share it with a friend, a brother, or anyone you know who needs this information. Let's break the silence around men's health, because no one should have to suffer in silence when there are solutions within reach.